Let's talk about the X trilogy. I'm going to talk about each movie using my space system. Story, pacing, artistry, characters, enjoyment. Each category gets a score between 0 and 2. 2 is the best you can get in any category. I'm reviewing these movies collectively together as a package. When I use my space system, I'm basing it on a promise. You're given a promise by a trailer or a movie or poster or something. How well does the movie live up to your expectations to the promise? These are horror movies, so there's that. I'm not comparing this to Die Hard or something. I'm comparing this to other kind of genre movies amongst that group. So the order of release was X, Pearl, maxxxine. I just saw maxxxine last night. I would not suggest watching it in that way. I would suggest watching Pearl, then X, then maxxxine. That's the timeline because Pearl is a prequel. Just watch it first. I actually think it's way better this way because then there's a transition of characters because Mia Goth is Pearl, then she's Pearl and maxxxine, then she's maxxxine. I like that kind of transfer. It goes from one, so that X movie becomes the middle and actually kind of looks cool because it's like Pearl X maxxxine. Which is kind of neat as well. So I actually think that's the way better way to watch these. But I'm going to review them in the order they were released. So we're going to talk about X first. I wasn't dying over X. I've seen X twice and I've seen Pearl twice and I've just seen maxxxine once. If you look back through my other videos, X and Pearl were like the two worst movies of the year for me. I just hated them. But in rewatching them, I sort of got a better appreciation for both films, and Pearl actually went up a lot more than original. But let's stick with X. I'm going to give the storyline, so it's between 0 and 2. So 0 is garbage, 2 is amazing. I'm going to give the storyline a 1. It was okay. So it's these people are going to make a porn film. It's the 70s. They need like a farmhouse or something. And there's this old man and old woman there. And they're just acting weird, and a lot of weird stuff happens, and they get killed off. It's a slasher movie. Based on that, it's fine. I would have just given it a 0.5 because there really is no story, but there's some cleverness to it. Like, this is throughout all three films. There's a lot of little clever things where it's not breaking the fourth wall. It's not exactly meta, but just little funny things where, you know, you're watching the movie, and then at one point the guy says, like, all right, let's get to what everyone's here to see. And he says that as a line of dialogue as to say, let's start shooting the film. And then, but also within the movie, you're like, yeah, let's get to the good stuff finally. So there's a lot of fun things like that. There's discussions on society and how sex is viewed and how we react. So there's some good stuff. I'm thinking that they're trying to be more clever than they are. That's kind of my impression. The other problem is that I can see the cleverness, but I just don't care because I don't really care about what's going on. That's the problem. It's great to have a really clever movie with a lot of fun little nods and some asides and some, you know, insight into some human nature. That's great. But this ain't friggin' 2001: A Space Odyssey, right? Like it's a slasher movie and it's appreciated, but I just don't care anyways. That's the problem. So I'm not saying the storyline is bad. I'm just saying it's okay. So I'd give it a 1. The pacing is, unfortunately, I'm going to give that a 1 as well. All movies are about 100 and something, 105 minutes, something like that. So the pacing, they're not really boring, but this one, it just feels like, God, it's taken forever. It feels like it's going to be like a Texas Chainsaw Massacre, and then it just seems like it's lingering on for a while. And because I don't really care about what's going on, it seems longer, but I can acknowledge that it's not really boring. I just wish it would have picked it up, but maybe shaved 10 minutes off. So I'll give it a 1. The artistry, this is a good looking movie. It does look like your Texas Chainsaws. It looks like a grittier movie. So I'm gonna give it a 1.5. Everything looks really good. I like, you know, some of the makeup just looks kind of weird to me on the old guys, on the old people. And the gore though is very good. There's some great gore. This one's got the best kills, the best gore. The other ones don't have anything compared to this one. The music was okay. On this one, I wasn't dying over the music as much. Like, it was fine. Everything's good. Like, I'm not going to buy the soundtrack. But yeah, it looked good. So 1.5 for that one. I'm going to give the characters, gosh, this is like a big thing for me with characters. Because characters for me are sort of the main ingredient for a lot of these movies for me. And I just hated everyone. Yeah, I hated every character in this movie. I hated them all. my favorite, and when I first saw it, I watched X first. I hated everybody. Upon watching Pearl first and then this movie, I saw when I rewatched these two, I watched Pearl then X. I actually like Pearl in this movie more. Her husband's okay. I think I like Pearl. Pearl's my favorite character in the X movie. She's weird. She's probably my favorite character of all these. I don't know. She's kind of funny to me. And I couldn't tell if they were trolling us with this reveal here of the killers and stuff. You're like, oh, this is kind of. I don't want to spoil it, I guess, just in case you haven't seen this movie. But it just was just like, what is happening? I couldn't tell if it was supposed to be a comedy because I laughed a lot. Maybe it was supposed to be a comedy and I kind of missed the point. But I do like Pearl. I give it a 0.5 for characters because I like Pearl. Jenna Ortega's character was the worst character in the history of the universe. It's like she's this girl who's like they call her church mouse. She's like, oh, she's all timid, but then she wants to be in the porn film. And then her boyfriend's like, well, I don't want you to be in it. She's like, oh, she throws it back in his face because earlier she made a comment about how he was filming this. And he's like, what are you, a prude? And then she's like, I want to be in the movie. It's like, oh, what are you, a prude? And I don't think filming the movie and being in it is the same level of prudishness. But also it's like, if your boyfriend doesn't want you to do it, then that's kind of weird. Like, maybe that's the character. Yeah, but I hate her and she sucked. And then later she's like, oh, I didn't mean to hurt his feelings. It's like, okay, well then perhaps you should have done not what he said, what he asked you not to do. Like, would she have been okay if he was in it? I don't know. I just hated that entire thing. The other characters are fine. Mia Goth is a good actress, so she's fine as maxxxine. She's way better as maxxxine in the movie maxxxine. But yeah, enjoyment factor, I'll give it a 1. Like, it's okay, I guess. I'm gonna give this a 5 out of 10. 5 out of 10 is sort of your, it's okay. The highlights are the look of the movie, Pearl, and the gore. So those are, the kills are good. The look of it is good. Pearl's good. Those are your highlights of X. Let's move on to Pearl. I like Pearl. I like this one. I think it's pretty fun. I'm gonna give the storyline a 1.5. Now, there's not a lot going on, but it's really like you feel like you're there at this farmhouse with her mom and Pearl, and she just wants to get out of there. And you're just like, yeah, I gotta get out of here as well. Her father's an invalid. He's brutal. You're just like, she needs to get out, and you kind of feel that with her. I love the time period. I love the period look. David Cornsweet, is that how you say his name? Who plays Superman? He's going to be Superman. He's in this. She goes to she was going to the movie. She watches. She always goes to this playhouse and stuff. I liked it. It's not a complicated story. It is simple, but it's simple and weird because it's like you're taking. If there was no killing, this almost could have just been a regular drama. But then all of a sudden you've got this gore in it. You're like, what the heck? And there's a lot of weird things. You got the alligator and stuff. So it's just neat to me. There's something neat about Pearl. I don't know, just really cool. The pacing, I'll give it a 1. Again, it could be a little bit quicker, I guess, but I wasn't bored. I'm tempted to give it a 1.5 for pacing. And you know what? I am going to change my mind. I'm going to give it a 1.5 because I'm actually not very bored during it. And I do think it moves along. It is character-based and more so than like a story or plot. So it does tend to linger a little bit, but not boring in such a way. I'm just making my notes here. Not boring to me. I actually like, yeah, not too often do I write my notes out and then change my opinion, but I am going to give it a 1.5 because I do think it was good. Artistry, 1.5, man, it looks good. It's very colored. It's bright. They wanted to make this in black and white. The studio said no, so they made it in Technicolor, and I think it really works. I'm glad they didn't do black and white. I think it's great. Her dress looks good. Love the blood on here. Everything looks amazing. The music's really nice. Tyler Bates, I think, did all the music for the whole trilogy. Really good. Pearl music is really good. Love the soundtrack here. Say a 1.5. I'm close to almost giving that a 2. Characters, big jump up. I'm giving it a 1.5 for characters. I really like all the characters in this movie. Pearl is friggin' awesome. Her mom is amazing. Great acting here. Mia Goth delivers a great kind of like monologue or whatever at the end. And damn, it's really good. I think it's all in one take. She's really good. Like in X, she's okay, but in this one, she's like really good. This one is just awesome. I think Pearl might be my favorite out of the trilogy. It will be my favorite in the terms of the ranking, so this will get the highest score for sure. But yeah, I really liked the characters a lot in this one. Even the side characters, David Cornsweet's good. Her cousin is good. This is a blonde girl. She's good too. The mom is friggin' amazing. Good actress. Enjoyment factor, I'm giving it 1.5. I really like this one a lot. I thought it was pretty neat. I'm giving it a 7.5 out of 10, so this one's the highest ranking. Um, Now I have seen them all twice. When I watch maxxxine for a second time, I'll see how I feel on that one. But I really like Pearl. I think it's probably my favorite one. All right, maxxxine, just saw this last night. I'm gonna give the storyline a 1. I'm gonna give it 1 for the storyline. I think they kind of lot. I could give it a 1.5. I'm close to giving it a 1.5 on the story, but I think the problem is that there's this little bit of a mystery as to who the killer is, and a little bit of giallo feel. You got the black gloves, and when it's revealed who the killer is, I'm just like, why is he even doing it? It's just so stupid. I immediately thought, oh, I bet you this is the killer, and I was right. I guessed it in like 2 minutes. Now, I did watch X right before going to see maxxxine. Like, I watched X, and then later that night, that night I went to go see maxxxine. So that final scene of X was playing in my mind, and I thought, oh, this will be it, and it was it. And I just don't like it. I think it was just very weak. But the goings on outside of the murder mystery stuff is pretty good. Like, she's trying to get this role in a crappy Satan cult movie sequel called The Puritan 2. I'm actually interested to see The Puritan. But yeah, like that part of the story was pretty good. Pacing, I'll give it a 1, same as the other ones. I wasn't bored. It was good. Maybe a little bit too long, slightly slow. Again, I could give it a 1.5. We're talking 0.5 differentials here. It's still well done. Overall, I liked it. I don't want you to get the impression I don't like this trilogy, but I've got to be somewhat fair to it, and I can see that pacing might drag a little tiny bit on this one. I'm close to giving 1.5, but I'll give it a 1. Artistry, I'm going to give this a 2 out of 2 for artistry on this one. X was a bit dark at parts, so it's hard to tell what's going on. Pearl's beautifully shot, but I still felt that it was just that small town, like it was, kind of easy. This one is really good. Music, top notch, great stuff. It's not Goblin, right? Because I mentioned Giallo, but it's pretty damn good. Everything looks great. Got the feel. It's 1985. It looks great. I like the outfits a lot. I don't know, just like the when they're walking around, it just looks good. So good job on the artistry. I think it really looks good. The gore, there's not much gore at all. There's really not really much killing. There's like one pretty good kill. That was okay. And it looked good though. It did look good. So for what there was, it did look good. Characters is a tough one. I'm going to give it a 1. I really liked maxxxine a lot. So Mia Goth really leveled up from X. This is why I think you really need to watch Pearl first, so you get a strong Mia Goth as Pearl. Then in X, you get a little bit of both characters because Pearl is in X, and then of course you've got maxxxine. And then when you get to maxxxine, she's really gotten the maxxxine character nailed down. She's awesome. Okay. There's a director woman who is in Tenet. I can't remember her name. She plays this bitchy kind of director of these crappy horror movies. She's awesome. I liked her in Tenet as well, but I liked her in here. Kevin Bacon's kind of a fun character. The other characters, there's a few here and there. They're just like the dad is brutal. Kevin Bacon's okay, but he just feels like he was kind of fun. I don't know. I'm close to giving it a 1.5. I'm so close to it. I don't know. I'm going to give the enjoyment factor 1.5 to make up for the other ones. I'm going to give this a 6.5 out of 10. Now, upon watching this again, this one has the potential to be my favorite. It's very close to being my favorite out of the 3. I definitely do like Pearl and maxxxine for sure. My problem with X is that I just hate all the characters. So I'm giving this one a 6.5. So 6.5 for this one, 7.5 for Pearl, and 5 for X. My problem with X really comes down to it. I can't stand any of the characters. They just suck. And I know you're not supposed to, in slasher movies, like you don't care about the characters in Friday the 13th movies. Yeah, but Jason is awesome. This one, the killer is not that great. It's pretty stupid and kind of lame. And the character sucks. They're just like, Positives are good gore, looks good. maxxxine is a better package for me. maxxxine is probably the best one. Let's face it. It's probably the best one. But I kind of like Pearl just because she's so. I like Pearl. I think I like Pearl more than maxxxine, the character. I don't know, just that red dress and her like that goofy kind of. At the end of the movie, it's like. I don't know. There's something. She's awesome. But Mia Goth is a great actress. I liked her in Infinity Pool as well. So I think she's got like a friggin' awesome career. She has a very unique kind of weird look to her, but it certainly fits these movies. I'm probably going to buy, I'm sure they'll do some trilogy thing. If not, I'll get the movies individually. But I'm going to say I highly recommend seeing maxxxine if you can see it. I think you might like it if you like the other ones. It's probably the best one, but remember, for my space system, I'm scrutinizing the crap out of it. So there's that to consider. That's it, everybody. Tell me your ranking below. Tell me your thoughts on the Pearl or X trilogy of films. That's it, everybody. Thanks for watching. Until next time.